Hare Krishna. Thank you all so much for joining and thank you for your patience. We will get started with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripātamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dīnatarinam Paramanandamādhavam Krishna Chaitanyamīshwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. My humble obeisances to all the Vaishnavas on the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtah Prayeshu Abhatreshu Nishtam Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. We are in this chapter titled Answers by Citing the Lord's Version. So in the previous chapter, we saw how Parikshit Maharaj came up with many questions, right? So if you see chapter 8, the chapter 8 is titled Questions by Parikshit Maharaj. So Parikshit Maharaj asked several questions, starting with the fundamental question of the difference between the body and the soul, why the soul is struggling in this body, what is his relationship with the Supreme, and so on. Starting with such questions, he goes on to ask several questions, and becomes the content of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam from chapter 9 onwards. So now in chapter 9, Shukadev Goswami, he attempts to answer the questions posed by Parikshit Maharaj. And this chapter is very special because these answers are not just Shukadev Goswami's answers. Shukadev Goswami is going to cite the Lord's version, meaning the Lord speaks to Brahma, and that is what is being told here. And this chapter is also very famous because it has the Chatushloki Bhagavatam here, right here in this chapter, how Brahma prays to the Lord and the instructions given by the Lord. It is the root verses of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. Taking those verses that were spoken by the Lord, the instructions spoken by the Lord to Brahma, from there, that is the root of the Bhagavatam. From there, it is expanded by Brahma, and Brahma gives it to Narada Muni. Then Narada Muni expands it and gives it to Vyasadeva. We already saw in the first canto how Vyasa and Narada had a samvad, and Narada Muni inspired Vyasadeva to meditate. He gave instructions on how to actually get the darshan of the Lord and seek inspiration and write the Srimad Bhagavatam. So the seed was sown by Narada Muni into the heart of Vyasdev, and Vyasdev in his meditation, he could see the internal energy, external energy, the Supreme Lord, the abode, everything. And he could also see how we living entities are struggling. So seeing that, Vyasdev compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam, meaning he revised the existing Bhagavatam. And then after that, he taught it to Shukadev Goswami. When Shukadev Goswami was very inspired by a few verses, he went back to study under his father. And Shukadev Goswami later speaks this to Parikshit Maharaj. So now the root verses of Srimad Bhagavatam is discussed in this particular chapter. So it is considered very, very important. But we won't be touching those right now. We will just cover the first few verses of this section. So let's see how Shukdev Goswami begins to answer the questions of Parikshit Maharaj. So the entire previous chapter was questions of Parikshit Maharaj. This chapter onwards, he's going to answer the questions that were posed by Parikshit Maharaj. Sri Shuka Uvacha Atmamaya Rajan Paras Yanubhavatmanaha na ghate ta na gate tarha sambandha swapna darshur ivanjasa. Anyone would like to read translation, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sri Shukdev Goswami said, O king, unless one is influenced by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no meaning to the relationship of the pure soul in pure consciousness with the material body. That relationship is just like a dreamer's seeing his own body working.
Very nice.
Hare
Salam
Krishna.
Mataji. Let me ask you this question. When you read this translation, you see Shukadev Goswami is telling, O King Parikshit, unless one is influenced by the energy of the Supreme Lord, there is no meaning of the pure soul in its pure consciousness identifying with the body. Right? Which energy of the Lord are we talking?
Uh, is it Yogamaya Mataji?
In what sense Yogamaya? Because Yogamaya, in what sense? Like, because Yogamaya can be
Yeah.
influencing a person in various ways. So tell me exactly, internal energy or external energy? Like that you tell.
Internal energy.
You feel that when you read the translation, it is internal energy. But read the translation again.
Okay. Um, Sri Shukdev Goswami said, O king, unless one is influenced by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no meaning to the relationship of the pure soul in pure consciousness with the material body. Oh, that relationship is just like a dreamer's seeing his own body working. So
What
again,
do
it
you
is
feel
talking about,
now?
yeah, because it is talking about relationship with the material body. So now I feel like it's external energy.
Correct. Actually, that is correct. Yeah. In the first look, it appears like internal energy. And also,
Yes.
word to word, you see Atma Maya. Atma Maya means his own energy, right? So when you read
Yeah.
that, it appears like it is his own internal energy. But however, you read the translation again and again, you understand the relationship like a dreamer seeing his own body working. You see the illusory potency there? Yes, it is Maya Shakti. It is the illusory energy. Okay. So, so when we read the purport, it will become more clear. So Parikshit had a question. What was the question he asked in the previous verse? The beginning questions that he was asking. He was asking how a living entity in this material life, though he is aloof from the material life, meaning he is spirit soul, he is not made up of body and mind. But then, how did he begin his life in this body? How did he decide to take up a body? How did he begin his material life? The spirit soul is always distinct from the material conception of life. But then, when we take up this body, we become so absorbed in material conception because we are influenced by this energy of the Lord. This energy that creates this influence is called as Atma Maya, meaning it is Lord's own energy only. Okay, Daivi Esha Gunamaya, Mama Maya Dhuratyaya. It is Lord's own energy, it is divine only. But what is the function that is going on here? The spirit soul, which is not made up of matter, is identifying with matter. Right? So, Parikshit's question is how did all this happen? So then let's continue the purport. In the purport, it is said that it has already been explained in the first canto when Vyasadeva had his realization. What did he see? Vyasadeva, he saw the Lord, the internal energy, and the external energy. And what did he see in his vision? He saw how the external energy was controlled by the Lord. It was kept in perfect control by the Lord, and how all the living entities were suffering because of the influence of the external energy, by the will of the Lord. Remember this, all of you? You must have written exams also on this. So, what was the vision of Vyasadeva? See, we are going back to the vision of Vyasadeva. These are the root verses that is going to come further. So, we see the vision of Vyasadeva is discussed. When Vyasadeva saw the Lord, he not just saw the Lord, he saw the Lord, the internal energy, the external energy, and also the living entities. But then when he saw the external energy, what did he see? He saw that the external energy was completely in control. The Lord had the external energy in control. Not only that, we living entities, we have zero control. We are karshati, we are suffering in this material world. We are identifying with the material elements and we are suffering. So we are controlled by the external energy by the will of the Lord. Therefore, although the living entity is purely, in a conscious state or at a spirit soul, he is actually subordinate to the Lord only. He is the Lord's part and parcel only. He is subordinate to the will of the Lord. But then, by the will of the Lord, he becomes influenced by the external energy of the Lord. So this is our condition. So in 15:15 it says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtam mata smriti jnanam aponaham cha vedescha sarvairahameva veda vedantakrit veda videva chaham. So basically the Lord is present as the super soul in every living entity's heart. And all the remembrance, forgetfulness, all the mess that we do, everything is influenced by the Lord. So the point is that we living entities, we begin identifying with material life and we are influenced by the external energy of the Lord. Okay. Okay, we are telling all this. But then automatically one will question, why should it all be under the will of the Lord? Why should the Lord first put us in that situation? Right? What is that will that he has that he wants us to suffer like this? So the next question automatically made will be why the Lord influences the living entity to such consciousness and forgetfulness and all this mess that we are going through in this material world. So the answer to that is that the Lord, he is actually wishing that every living entity is coming to their pure consciousness. Every living entity understands that he is part and parcel of Krishna and he can be engaged in loving service of the Lord. So every living entity should become the servant of the Lord. He should understand his constitutional position. He should understand that he is dependent on the Lord. He should understand that he is willing to serve the Lord. All this is the Lord's desire actually. But however, it so happens that we have that minute independence, right? Because of the minute independence that we have developed, we also want to enjoy like the Lord. We want to become equally powerful like the Lord, but we are not able to become equally powerful like the Lord. So, what happens? We become illusioned by the will of the Lord because we want to become like Him. So, Prabhupada gives this analogy. Like a person who thinks of becoming a king without possessing the necessary qualification, when the living, sorry, let me go back here. Um, he gives an example. Like a person who thinks of becoming a king without possessing the necessary qualification, when the living entity desires to become the Lord himself, he is put in a condition of dreaming like he is a king. So we are not having any qualifications to become as good as Krishna. But then we want to enjoy similar to Krishna. So then what happens? We dream like as if we are in that condition. So sometimes you might want to live in a very luxurious place. So you start daydreaming. Oh, I wish I had this palace. I'm imagining I have a big palace and I'm like a princess in that palace and so on. So similarly, we are trying to become the Lord in all respects. We want to enjoy like the Lord. We want to control like the Lord. We want to own everything like the Lord. So what happens? The Lord facilitates. The Lord allows the living entity to forget his true position and dream. Dream in the land of utopia where he is imitating God. That is our position. We are all in the dreamland, We are thinking, okay, today I will control, today I will be successful, today I will do this, today I will do that. So our whole life is actually just trying to become that enjoyer, become that proprietor, become that controller. We are all trying to become like the Lord. Prabhupada gives another example. He says, when a child cries and the child wants to have a moon from the mother, what does the mother do? The mother, she will show a mirror and then she will show the moon in the reflection of the mirror and she will satisfy the crying child. So I know this is a little mundane, but still, though we are supposed to be Krishna conscious and we should not see reels. Still, I see some very sweet reels of little Krishna. There are some animations that have come off late, and they make very beautiful videos of Krishna. Krishna and Yashoda Maya. Very cute, very sweet videos. And it's very addictive, to be frank. So that is my favorite time pass. Anyway, so and there are hundreds of videos out there. So you'll never get exhausted seeing these videos. And once you start seeing these videos, you get these prompts where again and again the same videos fall into your page and you keep seeing them over and over. So there is one very sweet video where Krikana is crying, he's showing the moon and he's crying saying, I want the moon. And what is Maya Yashoda doing? She brings a big tank of water, I mean a big pot of water. She fills that water, she brings a big vessel rather, and it is filled with water and she places it in a way that the moon is reflected in that water and Kana sees that moon. So he's crying for the moon, but Maya Yashoda has brought the moon here. How did she bring the moon? She brought the moon just by reflection. She just reflected the moon on a vessel of water and Kana's touching that moon. So actually, we are in that condition. We are also trying to possess the moon. We're trying to possess something that is far off. But then the Lord is telling, okay, just like how Maya Yashoda is kind of, I won't say cheating, but she's trying to convince Kanha that he can also touch the moon. Similarly, Krishna has also given us this material world where we can enjoy and we can also touch the illusory things of this world. So that's what Prabhupada says. The child cries to have the moon from his mother, and the mother, she gives the child a mirror to satisfy the crying, disturbing child with the reflection of the moon, or the moon is reflected on a body of water, and you can touch that moon. You can touch the moon. Similarly, a crying child of the Lord is given over to the reflection of the material world to lord it over. Because just like how a karmi lord, like karmi is what, karmi means what we only. We all lord it over and we keep lording it over, but then this world is so frustrating that eventually we give up this world and we desire to attain the Lord. But then there is a catch there. There is a catch. Some people, they want to give up this material world and they want to become one with the Lord, Prabhupada says. This is not a good idea, right? Because of frustration in this material world, what happens is some people, they want to become one with the Lord, while others, they want to enjoy this material world, which is an illusion. So either way, both of these people are only an illusion. So be it a person who really wants to enjoy within this world, or be it a person who wants to become one with the Lord, both of them are only illusions. Okay. There is actually no necessity of trade. See, this is important because this question everybody asks. So one may ask now, how is it that we came to this material world? When did we come to this material world? When did we develop this desire to lord it over? This question has been asked since time immemorial by everybody. Everybody constantly asks this question and tries to find an answer. Here says Prabhupada. He says, actually, there is no necessity for you to trace out the history of when the living entity began to desire this. What did we begin to desire? We begin to desire to enjoy this material world. We began to desire to be like Krishna. But then when did it happen? Was there a point that it started? Prabhupada says there is no necessity for us to find out when the living entity started desiring it. But we should know, as soon as he started desiring it, he was put under the control of Atma Maya by the will of the Lord, by the direction of the Lord. Therefore, in this material conditioning, in this world, I am falsely thinking this is mine and this is I. This ahankar and mamakar is actually a false conception. I and mine, this feeling, it is persisting life after life as long as we are in this material world. But however, in pure consciousness, we don't have such misconceived dreams and we are in a pure state and we understand that we are the servitor of the Lord. Okay, so that was this verse that Shukdev Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj, unless you're influenced by the external energy of the Lord, there is no question of the body, I mean, our pure soul identifying with the body. And you identifying with the body is just like how a dreamer is seeing his own body working. It's like seeing yourself. Okay, so that was the first one that Shukdev Goswami mentioned. Now let's go to the next. बहुरूपैवा भाति मायया बहुरूपया रममाणो गुणेश्वास्य ममाहम् इति मन्यते. Same thing, mama aham iti manyate. Okay, so let's see what the translation is. Anyone wants to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji. The illusioned living entity appears in so many forms offered by the external energy of the Lord. While enjoying in the modes of material nature, the engaged living entity misconceives thinking in terms of I and mine.
So like this, he goes on. He goes on moving from one species to the other, from one body to the other, identifying in terms of I and mine. So at some point, we don't know when, but at some point, you cannot trace it out. Since time immemorial, we are in this material world. Okay, there is no point trying to question when it came. Okay, so I've been identifying with this body, I've been identifying with this material world, and I'm going in circles. And I'm taking so many different forms, so many different births that is offered by material energy. And throughout these different births that I take, I am constantly thinking in terms of I and mine. Aham mameti. This is the feeling that we have all the while as we are taking different births. So purport, Prabhupada says, we living entities, we are offered different dresses by illusory external energy. So we are given many, many clothes to wear, like an actor on stage. An actor on stage, sometimes he has to be dressed like probably in one scene like a sage, the next scene he's dressed like a king, the next sage he's dressed like a beggar. So like that, this Maya Devi, she's giving us various kinds of dresses to wear as we are enjoying in this material world. And we have the three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. So we are also tormented, or we are awarded these three modes of material nature. So we are awarded a dress, that is the body, the type of body, and we are also awarded the three modes of material nature. So like this, there are 900,000 varieties of material bodies in water. There are 2 million vegetable bodies, 1,100,000 worm bodies and reptile bodies, 1 million forms of birds, and 3 million different bodies of beasts, and 400,000 human forms. Overall, how many do we have? 8,400,000 species. And this is mentioned in the Padma Purana, right? There is a verse in the Padma Purana that gives the count. How many different species are available in this world? And today biologists are very spending a lot of years trying to classify the different genus and all that of different living entities, of different plants and different insects and animals and so on. But all this is already done because, of course, the creator, the Supreme Lord, has already knows everything, what he has created. So obviously it's all recorded in our scriptures. So there are 8,400,000 varieties of bodies in various planets in the various universes. So to figure out the different varieties of species in one particular type of living entity in one particular planet, which is Earth, we are taking forever. Scientists are still trying to figure out. But then we are talking about all the varieties of all the species in all the planetary systems. And how much is it? It is 8,400,000. That means just human-like species is 400,000. You can imagine. Human-like species. And only one species is supposed to be predominantly present on Earth. Okay, predominantly. But anyway, there are 400,000. Like it has said, like the higher planetary systems, people with advanced facilities, like the demigods and so on, they have more subtle bodies and they are a different species altogether. They are more tuned to better gunas and better facilities and better actions. So they are a different species altogether. So like that, there are 400,000 varieties of human-like forms. Human-like this, like what bodies types we have. So even in one particular body, it's not that we are stagnant. It's not that I have the same body since my birth. My body kept changing since I was a baby to I was a girl to I was a lady, young woman to a lady to a old woman to whatever. So basically, even our body of every living entity, it keeps changing from childhood to boyhood, from boyhood to youth, from youth to old age, and from old age to another body. And how am I going to another body? I have created that through my own actions, through my own karma. I have to transmigrate. I have to go to another body. And what's happening? We living entities, we are creating our own new bodies by our desires. Because of our karma, we are forced into another body. But how are we creating the body? Meaning, what body are we choosing to go depends on our desires. So the Lord, He will supply a form depending on what you desire, how you want to enjoy. He says, for example, if you want to enjoy the flesh of another animal, immediately you're given the body of a tiger because that is your key desire, main desire. So then when you get the body of a tiger, you can freely enjoy drinking blood of another animal. Similarly, if you want to just swim all the time, you just want to stay in the swimming pool all your life, Krishna will be like, okay, that's your desire, predominant desire. So the next birth, we will give you the body of a fish. Similarly, there could be a person who's doing so many different sacrifices so that he can ascend the heavenly planets. So such a person is given a demigod body because that is his intense desire. And then if he is intelligent enough, if he really desires correctly, then what will happen? He will get a spiritual body and he will enjoy the company of the Lord. So basically, the freedom that is given to us, right? That little minute freedom. We said because of that minute freedom, we chose to enjoy separately from the Lord and we wanted to become enjoyers. But then with that little freedom, if we can utilize it correctly, then the Lord will be very kind to us and He will give us the type of body we are desiring. So what is it that we should desire? We should desire for a spiritual body. So He'll give us that type of body if we sincerely desire. We should utilize our free will correctly. And we living entities, our desiring is like dreaming of a golden mountain. Now, a person, this is about dreams, okay? This also comes later in Puranjana Upakyan section. This is about dreams. There is a big analysis that is made. So what really is a dream? It is a series of impressions of different things that you have seen, okay? Like for example, you might have seen a horse, you might have seen a bird, and you might have seen a cow with horns. So in your dream, you might be seeing a horse that is flying that has horns. Where did this imagery come from? It came from superimposition of various images that you have seen. And all this put together, you're seeing something very fancy. Like Prabhupada gives this example. The living entity is desiring and he's dreaming of a golden mountain. A person knows what a mountain is, and a person also knows what gold is, meaning he has seen mountain separately, he has seen gold separately. But then, out of his desire, he's dreaming of a golden mountain. And when the dream is over, he sees something else in his presence. So he finds in this awakened state that there is neither gold nor there is a mountain, then what to speak of a golden mountain? So this is how this world is. We are in so many different networks of illusions in this world. We are dreaming of so many situations, possible situations, and all this is only a phantasmagoria, as Prabhupada says. It's just an illusion. It's just many things that we desire. We desire to see many things, and then we are superimposing all these desires one over the other, and we are seeing fancy things. So just like how a person in a dream, he sees something really fancy. It's all rooting from his desire, right? It is rooting from his desire. Similarly, we also have so many desires, and rooting from our desire, we start seeing so many fancy things. And we try to create these fancy things also, but they are also very temporary, right? Because I want to enjoy, I start creating different things. Like I want to enjoy in a beautiful house. So I purchase a house and I live there. But then, how long am I going to keep this house? We won't say it's an illusion, but what we are trying to say is it is temporary, right? So my identification is an illusion. Me identifying with that house as mine is an illusion. So that is how we should understand. So we living entities, and in this material world, we have taken many bodies, and through all these different bodies that we have taken, be it whether we are in the body of a plant or an insect or a reptile or an animal or a human being or a demigod, this one thing has not left us. What is that? Ahankara, mamakara, me and mine, mine and I. The karmi, he thinks of this world as mine, and the jnani, he thinks I am everything. So the whole material conception of politics, sociology, philanthropy, altruism, everything is conceived by the conditioned souls on the basis of I and mine. And this I and mine, they are products of very strong desire to enjoy this material life. So identification with the body and a place where the body is obtained under different conceptions of all these different isms like socialism, nationalism, all this is all because of our forgetfulness of our true nature. That is what is happening to us. We living entities, we are forgetful of the true nature. Therefore, we have this misconception and we are getting bewildered. We are getting bewildered in this material world. So, like this, Shukadev Goswami is explaining to Maharaj Parikshit, okay, about transmigration of living entities from one form to the other. Identification and transmigration. Okay. Okay, but then when does he give up this conception of I and mine? When does it happen? That is explained in this verse. Yarhi vava mahimni swe parasmin kalamayayoho rameta gata sammohas tyaktvo daste tado bhayam. Anyone for translation?
Hare Krishna Mataji. As soon as the living entity becomes situated in his constitutional glory and begins to enjoy the transcendence beyond time and material energy, he at once gives up the two misconceptions of life, I and mine, and thus becomes fully manifested in the pure self. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So when he begins identifying with his real constitutional position, what is his constitutional position? His constitutional glory. What is that? To understand, I am servant of Krishna. When he becomes situated in his constitutional position, then he truly enjoys what is transcendental life. And he gives up this material energy. He gives up both the two conceptions of I and mine. Who has the I conception? The jnani. Who has the mine conception? The karmi. So generally, when we are materially entangled in this world, we think this is mine, that is mine, I need to keep this, I'm fearful of this wife is mine, that child is mine, this house is mine, this job is mine. We think mine. Typical karmi attitude. When do I think I-centric? That is a typical jnani attitude. That's what Prabhupada said in the previous purport. Because the jnani is always thinking, I am this, I am that, and finally he wants to say, I am God. right? So these two are big misconceptions. And we are classified into two classes of men. In the lower state, the mind conception is very prominent. For all of us, actually, more mind conception is very prominent. But as we advance a little bit, eye conception is prominent. But is eye conception good? He'll clarify that. Prabhupada will tell us that very soon. In the animal state of life, the conception of mind is perceivable even in dogs and cats. Because the dogs and cats, even they also fight, thinking this is mine, this area is mine. I have marked this area. In India, sometimes in the night, if a dog from a nearby street walks into our area where our dogs are there, there'll be a big fight in the night. They'll be barking at each other and they'll wake up the entire residents of that one road. Why? Because those dogs have a severe mind conception. They have marked their boundaries. They say this is my area. So that is basically very prominent because especially we living entities, forget dogs and cats, even we human beings, right? We have so much of it. This is my body, this is my house, this is my family, my caste, my language, my nation, my country. So we go on and on. Then what happens as we advance a little bit, we get into this I conception. Now, this I conception is actually very dangerous. Uh, as long as your I conception is I am the servitor of the Lord, that is fine. That is considered pure consciousness. But then if this I conception transforms into I am the Lord, I am the Supreme, then it becomes extremely dangerous. So that's why we are very blessed with Srila Prabhupada's books. Okay. Because as we are advancing in Krishna consciousness, that mind should slowly wither away and you should get into self-realization, understanding who you are, right? That is the first step of God consciousness. First you understand who you are, then you will understand God, right? So, but to come to that position, first that mind conception should wither, meaning you should not be too materialistic. That is the understanding. Don't identify so much with your body and things of your body, extensions of your body, things you possess. Don't be so materialistic. Try to advance a little bit and think spiritually. So the minute we say, okay, I'm going to advance spiritually, we start focusing on the Atma, on the self. But then now we should be very careful. Now we are all blessed with Srila Prabhupada's books, and Prabhupada from page 1 of Bhagavatam, from page 1 of Bhagavad Gita, from page 1 of Ishopanishad, page 1 of Nectar of Instruction. Every book you take, he smashes this idea that I am the Supreme. He smashes the Mayavad idea, right? The Mayavad conception. He tells you, your spirit soul, you are the servant of Sri Krishna. That is what your identity is. So like that, from day one, we are trained like that. So for us, it seems very easy. But generally, as people progress, what happens? This mind conception transforms into an I conception and they start thinking they are the supremes. They are so much thinking of themselves. They consider themselves to be the supreme. But then Prabhupada says that is very dangerous. In fact, it is more dangerous than the conception of mind. So, of course, in the Vedic literature, sometimes you might see statements like you should consider yourself one with the Lord. But when such statements come, you should understand you don't become one with the Lord in all respects, in every respect. Oneness in certain respects, being subordinate to the Lord, being his constitutional part and parcel. That is the correct understanding. And that is possible only if we read what is given by the Acharyas in Guru Parampara. So the Lord, he asks the conditioned souls to surrender unto him. If you really want to understand who you are, if you want to understand that I properly, then what should you do? You should surrender. And if at all we living entities had already surrendered, then why will the Lord continuously ask us, come and surrender, come and surrender? The problem is we are not surrendered. That's why he's telling. Everywhere in Bhagavad Gita, he comes and says, Sarva Dharman Parityecha Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Then he goes again and in Lord Ramachandra and the Ramayana, he says, Sakradeva Prapannaya Tavasmiti Chayajati Abhyam Sarvada Dasmai Dadati Mi Etadvratam Mama. So like that, everywhere Krishna comes, he keeps Bhagavatam, throughout Bhagavatam, the instruction is surrender, surrender, surrender. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes. He doesn't even demand surrender. He says, okay, you don't surrender, but you just chant one holy name. I will ensure you surrender. And that is Mahaprabhu's mercy. But if we had already surrendered, then why will the Lord keep asking us to surrender? That means we are not surrendered. Where is our surrender? Our surrender is towards Maya, right? That's where we have surrendered. We have not surrendered to the Lord. So anyway, this material energy, Maya, is also controlled by the Lord only, ultimately. Anyway, he says that this power of material nature, this Devi Esha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyaya, it is his energy, right? So it is all, everything ultimately is under him. But because of that I and me, what are we doing? We are rather surrendering to Maya rather than, we are choosing to surrender to Maya rather than surrendering to the Supreme Lord. So therefore, Bhagavad Gita says, if at all you want to get out of this Maya, then what should you do? You should surrender unto the Lord. Which is that verse that says, if one who surrendered unto the Lord, for them it is easy to cross over Maya? Anyone knows?
Devasya Gunamai Maya Dotaya Mameva Prapadante Maya Metam Tavante.
Yes, correct. Mameva ye prapatyante mayam etam tarantite. So if we surrender unto Krishna, then getting over Maya is not a big deal, right? So we should acknowledge the supremacy of the Lord. We should understand He is the controller of everybody. We should learn what our position is, that we are the eternal servitor of the Lord. We are conditioned in this living entity. And then we should surrender to the Lord to become free from this illusory energy. So basically, the supreme truth is uncontaminated by material energy. We are contaminated by this illusory energy, but he is uncontaminated. He is in fact the controller of that energy. So if at all we want to surpass this illusory energy, then we should go to the controller of that energy, who is the Lord. So here it's Prabhupada says, the best purpose is served, however, when one is directly facing the supreme truth, as one faces the sun, that is when the illusory energy goes away. So which means Krishna Surya Sama Maya He Andakar, Yahan Krishna Taha Nahi Mayera Adhikar. Right? So wherever there is sun, there is no question of darkness. If you're facing the sun, then how will you face darkness? Maya is like darkness and sun is like the Supreme Lord. Similarly, when one is face to face with the Supreme Lord, he becomes free from all the illusions and he will not be in the darkness of Maya. As it is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 14th chapter, Mamchayo Vyabicharena Bhakti Yogena Sevate Sagunan Samatiyaitan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. So this is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Similarly, if we hear from books like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, then we can always be in the association of Krishna, we can be in the association of pure devotees, and we will not get diverted by the conceptions of I and mine. So if we really want to get over the conception of this I and mine, if we really want to get over the illusion, the influence of the illusory energy, then what should we do? We should first of all surrender unto the Lord. We should take association of devotees and hear Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. This is the way for us to get over the misconception of I and mine. And Vyasadeva, he has taken great efforts to write the Srimad Bhagavatam, and the purpose of Bhagavatam is to deliver all the conditioned living entities from this fallen condition. So if we are able to take up to this process of Krishna consciousness, we will, and if we are able to cultivate knowledge through the Srimad Bhagavatam, and if we are able to surrender unto the Supreme Lord through the process, of Bhakti Yoga, this entire process of Bhakti Yoga, then we can surpass the effect of Maya. So what did we learn so far? We saw that we living entities, because of the influence of Maya, under the will of the Lord, we are identifying with our body. Now that we are identifying with our body, we are transmigrating from one body to the other through 8,400,000 species. But then if we want to get out of the situation, what should we do? We should be situated in our constitutional position. Now, how to get situated in our constitutional position? How to have that understanding that I am spirit soul? To understand that I am spirit soul and be situated in your natural constitutional position, first you should come out of the artificial position. We are identifying with material energy. So, first we should come out of that identification. That means you have to first catch on to something that is spiritual. For that, you should surrender. If you want to catch on to the Supreme Lord's lotus feet, what should you do? You should surrender. To get out of Maya, what should you do? You should surrender. Now that you want to surrender, you are in the process of surrender. What all can you do to keep you in that position, to keep you stable as a surrendered soul? You should hear Srimad Bhagavatam, you should hear from Bhagavad Gita, you should chant the holy names, and you should take continuous association of devotees. So, like this, you should take advantage of the signs of Krishna consciousness. Okay, so we are good so far. So now let's see what the conversation goes on like. So the conversation is going to continue from this verse. Atmatattva vishuddhyartam yadarha bhagavan ritam brahmane darshayan rupam avyakila vratadruta. Anyone for translation?
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
Mataji.
So go ahead, Prabhu.
Thank you so much. O King, the personality of Godhead, being very much pleased with Lord Brahma, because of his non-deceptive penance in Bhakti Yoga, presented his eternal and transcendental form before Brahma, and that is the objective goal for purifying the conditioned soul.
So now he is telling, O King Parikshit, who's telling? Shukadeva Goswami is telling. Very much pleased with Lord Brahma because of his non-deceptive penance in Bhakti Yoga. What did the Lord do? The Lord, he revealed his transcendental form in front of Brahma. And that indeed is the objective goal of purifying the conditioned soul. So by purifying yourself, by coming to the point of self-realization, by becoming a pure soul, what is it that you should achieve? You should achieve Bhagavat Sakshatkara, meaning you should be able to see the Lord face to face, right? So we are saying we want to get out of this material world and we want to be established in our constitutional position. That's what we saw till verse number 3. Now that we want to be established in our constitutional position, we want to surrender unto the Lord. What is the fruit of everything, right? What is the fruit of all this? To be in the constant presence of the Lord. Right? So now Shukadev Goswami is telling Brahma did this. Brahma, he did non-deceptive penance. Very genuine, very transparent bhakti he did. Unto whom? Unto Bhagavan. So Brahma, he did this very purified penance to please the Lord in a Shuddha mind, in a very clean mind. That is through the process of bhakti. That's why the word bhakti yoga is used here. And because of his non-deceptive penance in bhakti yoga, what happened? The Lord presented himself in front of Brahma. That is the objective goal of purifying the conditioned soul. What is the goal of understanding yourself and then surrendering unto the Lord? It is to associate with the Lord, right? So that is what Brahma did, and he is a very good example. This is what Shukadev Goswami is telling to Parikshit Maharaj. So let's see what is said in the purport. Now, when we talk of Atma Tattva, it is not just the science of living entity, it is also the science of God. So, Atma Tattva, first you're talking about self-realization, but then if you stop with self-realization, what is the point? You should advance further and go up till God realization. So, when you have both self-realization and God realization, it is called as Atma Tattva, to understand yourself in full. Because if you have just understood I am spirit soul, what is the identity of the spirit soul? You didn't understand that. Identity of the spirit soul is to be servant of God. That means you should understand God also, right? You should understand yourself and you should understand God. If you have understanding both together, this is called as real Atma Tattva. Real self-realization means you should also understand God. Both the Supreme Lord and the living entity are to be known. And in fact, both of them are known as Atma in one sense, right? When we say Atma Tattva, the word Atma can be Paramatma, it can also be living entity. Atma can mean many things. Atma Ramascha Munayo, this verse we have done in great detail. You have written exams on it. And there are so many different meanings for that word Atma. So Atma can also mean body. So, but here, contextually, both are called as Atma. Both Paramatma and the Jivatma, both of them are Atma. Whether it is the Jiva or it is the Supreme Lord, they may be called as Atma. So, Atma Tattva means to understand both the Jiva and the Supreme Lord. So, Shukadev Goswami, he explains this verse with the aim of purifying the truth of both the Paramatma and the Jivatma. That's what Prabhupada says. So generally, many people, they have very wrong conceptions. They think Paramatma and Jivatma are one and the same. Many people think like that. But then that is a wrong conception. That is a wrong conception. These kind of misconceptions, they can be removed only through one process. That is the pure process we are talking about. What is the pure transparent process that we are talking about? It is Bhakti Yoga. So by one stroke of Bhakti Yoga, as in the sunlight, both the sun and the world and everything within the sunlight are properly seen. Similarly, through that one stroke of Bhakti Yoga, you can understand the self and the Supreme Lord. And you can understand that they are different. You should not, through Bhakti Yoga, one doesn't think that one is the Paramatma. One doesn't think like that. Through Bhakti, if one has really understood Bhakti, then that person will think, I am the servant of the Lord. So, just like how in darkness one cannot see the sun, nor himself, nor the world, but in sunlight one can see the sun, one can see himself, and one can also see the world around him. Similarly, when we have the right process, this bright process of Bhakti Yoga, then everything will be clearly visible. There is no question of deception. So, no other forms of realization can truly teach you the science of Atma Tattva. So, that's why this Brahma, he went through a rigorous process of bhakti. In the mood of devotion, he did penance. It's not that he did some dry austerity to become one with Brahman. No. He did penance in the mood of being a servant of the Lord, in the mood of bhakti, so that he could see the Lord face to face. So, in fact, even in the Bhagavad Gita, also it is mentioned, only through Bhakti Yoga one can know him perfectly. That is the best science of God, right? It's only through Bhakti Yoga that you can know the Lord. And that's why Brahma took this penance of performing Bhakti Yoga and he was able to see the Lord. And the Lord, when he manifested his form, he showed his transcendental form, right? That's what is mentioned in the verse. Transcendental form means it is not the mundane forms of this world. It is transcendental. The Lord's form is transcendental. And in fact, the Brahma didn't just do some penance to see some material form. He wanted to see the transcendental form of the Lord. So the form of the Lord is always Sachidananda, always eternally full of knowledge, bliss, and eternity. And no material form is fully Sachidananda, right? So he was able to see this transcendental form of the Lord because of his mood of Bhakti Yoga. And then what happened? He was able to see the Lord fine. That's all? That's all, just seeing is enough? No, it didn't stop there. Brahma was then told by the Lord the gist of the entire Bhagavatam in 4 original verses. That is the Chatushloki Bhagavatam, the Moola verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this Bhagavatam, 4 shlokas, they were directly received by Brahma when he got the darshan of the Lord. So Srimad Bhagavatam is a transcendental science. It is not a creation of mental speculators. One should not think, oh, Shukdev Goswami manufactured Bhagavatam or Vyasadev simply manufactured Bhagavatam. No, it was revealed to Brahma, not any ordinary person. The sound of Srimad Bhagavatam is completely transcendental, and the resonance of Srimad Bhagavatam is as good as that of the Vedas. So the topic of the Bhagavatam is the science of both the Lord and the living entity. That is what is discussed in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And if you can regularly hear and read Srimad Bhagavatam and perform the science of bhakti, then you will attain the highest platform through the association of both the book Bhagavata and the devotees Bhagavatas. So both Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, they attained perfection through which medium? Through the medium of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the direct representation of the Lord, the words of the Lord directly. Though Bhagavatam is about the Lord, about the devotees of the Lord, in one sense, it is also directly the words of the Lord, just like how Bhagavad Gita is directly the words of the Lord. Even Srimad Bhagavatam is the word of the Lord. Why? Because it was directly spoken by the Lord to Brahma only. And those are the seed verses. From that only this entire 18,000 verses have come. So that means the root is actually the words of the Lord, right? So Bhagavatam is also the words of the Lord, as much as it is about the Lord. So let's go to verse number 5. I thought I'll do at least 8 verses, but I don't know if I'll even go to 6 verses. Let's see. Sadidevo jagatam paro guru swadhishnayam mastaya shishrikashyai kashta kshata tamnadya gaccha drishamatra sammatam prapancha nirmana vidhiryaya bhave. Translation, anybody?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna and Pranam. Translation: Lord Brahma is the first spiritual master, supreme in the universe, could not trace out the source of his lotus seed. And while thinking of creating the material world, he could not understand the proper direction for such creative work, nor could he find out the process for such creation. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So imagine when Brahma was created, there was nobody with him. He could not understand where he came from. And generally, when we come into this world, we take up a body and we are babies in this world. Even we also don't know who we are, why we are here, what are we doing. We are simply crying, we are simply existing there. Our consciousness is not so evolved. But imagine Brahma's state. Brahma's consciousness was so evolved that he was trying to find out who he is when he was born. And he could not understand who he was. Imagine he had so much awareness that he could realize that he's all alone and he could not trace the source of his birth. So he knew he was born and he was trying to trace out the source of his seat. What am I? Where did I come from? Who am I? What is this? What is this lotus? He already started thinking so much. So he's such an advanced soul. And he could not understand anything. He could not, and also he knew that he had a task to perform as he was born. So as soon as he was born, he knew, okay, I have a task to do. But how do I execute my task? He doesn't know. He could not get proper direction for his creative work, and he could not find the process for such a creation. So this was the predicament in which Brahma, the first living entity, is. Today, after some awareness of who we are in this predicament. We are thinking, oh, who am I? Why did I come here? Why am I suffering here? Why can't I go back to Godhead? Or why can't I go to some place where I can just do Krishna consciousness? Why am I stuck here? Today we are thinking, after what, like 40 years, 30 years, whatever our age is, we are thinking now. But Brahma, as soon as he came, he was like, hey, who am I? Why have I come? So he started thinking. And he didn't get proper direction. Actually, it's quite fearful. Huh? It's all covered with darkness. He doesn't know who he is. And he's trying to find the root of his existence. So this was his situation. So Prabhupada says in the purport, this verse is a prelude for explaining the transcendental nature of the form of the abode of the Lord. Why does Prabhupada say that? Because now Brahma, only after he searches, he begins to meditate only. And only after he begins to meditate, the Lord reveals the abode and himself. Okay. So this is the beginning, first verse that talks about how he started looking out for who he is. This is important for all of us also. Because we start our Krishna consciousness by that simple question, who am I? I mean, there's something more to this life other than just eating, enjoying, going to a party, going to work, coming back, taking family out to the beach. coming back home, eating that curd rice and going to sleep. Life should be something more, right? That's how we all started our search. So without a question in mind, Are, what is this? Is this all life? Is life all about this? Huh? With that question, we begin. So similarly, Brahma also, he had so many questions. Who am I? I'm not able to trace out why I'm here. And that's how he began thinking, and he got the darshan of the Lord. So it is the prelude this to seeing the Lord and seeing the abode of the Lord. And we should understand Brahma really saw the abode of the Lord. And Prabhupada says the kingdom of God is not a myth. It is factually a place in a different transcendental sphere in the planets of Vaikuntha. And this will also be explained in this chapter. Many people say, oh, spiritual world, it is a conception. Many people say. It's a conception, it's a state of mind. Liberation is just a state of mind. It is both. Yes, it is a state of mind. Yes, it is a conception, but it is also a factual place. We cannot deny that it is a factual place. It has its existence. It is Tripad Vibhuti. Otherwise, why would the Vedas call it Tripad Vibhuti? We have also read that recently in Bhagavatam, right? Tripad Vibhuti and Ekpad Vibhuti. So it is really a place. Of course, it's a conception. When you feel continuously tuned in Krishna consciousness, you feel liberated. But liberation is also a state of existence. When you go to the spiritual world, you're factually liberated, right? So like that, Prabhupada, first and foremost thing, when we hear Brahma had darshan of the Lord, he saw the abode, means we should really acknowledge the fact that there is Vaikuntha. Brahma did see Vaikuntha. So such knowledge of the spiritual sky, far above the material sky and its paraphernalia, all that he could get, how did Brahma get all this? By the power of his devotion. Without bhakti, nothing is possible. So he achieved, through bhakti, he was able to understand who he is and who is God. In fact, Brahma was in a complete state of bewilderment. He could not even trace out the source of his own existence. By his independent knowledge, he could not do anything much. He didn't know anything. But then he took shelter of the Lord. Through the medium of Bhakti Yoga, he could understand who the Supreme Lord is. So that is what the Vedas also state. Okay? This is the version of the Vedas. Even the first spiritual master of the universe, Brahma, he was also enlightened by the grace of the Lord through the process of bhakti to understand perfect knowledge. So therefore, if we also want perfect knowledge, what should we hanker for? We should hanker for the mercy of the Lord. There is no other means. So if we want to seek knowledge on the strength of our own personal endeavors, it's not possible. But we should seek the mercy of the Lord through the process of bhakti, and then the Lord will be revealed to us. Just like how the Lord is going to be revealed to Brahma. Text number 6. सचिन्तयन्द्वाक्षरमेकाम्भसि उपाश्रणोद्वेर्गदिदं वचो विभु स्पर्शे सुयत् षोडशमेकविंशमम् निष्किञ्चनानं नृपयद्धनं विधु. Can someone read first synonyms, then translation for this verse, because it's important.
Hare Krishna. Saha hi chintayan, while thus thinking. Dvi, two, aksharam, syllables. Ekada, once upon a time. Ambhasi, in the water. Upar Srinot, heard it nearby. Dvi, twice. Gaditam, uttered. Vachaha, words. Vibhuhu, the great. Sparsheshu, in the sparsha letters. Yat, which. Shodasham, the 16th. Ekavimsham, and the 21st. Nishkinchananam, of the renounced order of life. Nripa, O king. Yat, what is. Dhanam, wealth. Viduhu, as it is known. Translation. While thus engaged in thinking in the water, Brahmaji heard twice from nearby 2 syllables joined together. One of the syllables was taken from the 16th and the other from the 21st of the Sparsha alphabets, and both joined to become the wealth of the renounced order of life. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So, what is the translation telling? This Brahma, he was trying to understand where he came from, what is his purpose. So, like this, when he was thinking in the water, why water? Because this lotus is in the water, right? So, he was thinking inside this water, inside this ambasa, which is ambasa, is that the word that is used? Ambasi, yeah, in the water. He was thinking like that. What happened? He heard. What did he hear? He heard two syllables. Two syllables joined together. What are these two syllables he heard? He heard the 16th syllable and the 21st syllable of the sparsha letters. Hearing the 16th and the 21st syllables of the sparsha letters, he took it very seriously. He took that word that was formed with the 16th akshara and the 21st akshara, and that itself became the wealth of the renounced order of life. Okay, so now what is the 16th and 21st and what is sparsha alphabets? So let's look at sparsha letters. So in Sanskrit dictionary, we have, you all are all experts, you all know already. Many of the languages have the same aksharas. Many of the Indian languages, I won't say all the Indian languages, but many Indian languages have similar aksharas. What are the aksharas that we have? We have kakka, gagganya, chajanya, taddana, and then tattadadana, pappa, pabba, ma. Right? Till there. So all these are called as sparsha varnas. Sparsha varnas till ma. Prabhupada later in the translation, in the purport, he will say from ka to ma are the sparsha varnas. These are the consonants and these are called as sparsha. So what did he say? He said the 16th and the 21st. So if you calculate, the 16th and the 21st will be, 16th will be ta and 21st will be pa. How did we start? We started with kakka gaggana, right? If you don't know, so I think that's okay for me. Don't worry. So basically, ta and pa. So what does ta and pa come put together become tapa? Tapa means what? Tapa means austerity, right? And that becomes the wealth of the renounced order of life. So basically, Brahma heard an instruction. He heard a vibration saying tapa, tapa, tapa. That means meditate, meditate. He heard this. Now, how did Brahma know the meaning of tapa? Because already everything was infused into him. So just like when you have this, when you have a computer, the computer already comes, that memory chip is already there. It is all fully programmed. Like that, Brahma was already programmed to know what is tapa. At least the aksharas he knew. Okay, so he was programmed to know what is tapa and he decided to perform penance. So let's see what Prabhupada says in the purport. In the Sanskrit language, the consonant alphabets are divided into two divisions, the sparsha aksharas and the talavya varnas. So from ka to ma, the letters are known as sparsha varnas. And the 16th of the group is called as ta, whereas the 21st is called as pa. So when they are joined together, what do you get? You get tapa. Penance is constructed. And this penance is the beauty and wealth of the brahmanas, of the renounced order of life. And actually, every human being is meant to perform tapa. That is our only business. This is what Rishabh also says. The purpose of human life is to perform tapasya. That is what every living entity should be doing. So Brahma, he also performed tapasya right from the day he was born. So he took the Lord as a spiritual master and he performed tapasya, and only through tapasya he was able to understand the Lord. So life is not just meant for sense gratification of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, but life is meant for tapasya. What tapasya should we do? Should we also sit in Himalayas or sit on a lotus like Brahma, go up into some space and float in a lotus? No, we don't have to do all that magic. What we have to do is we should do tapasya to go back home, back to Godhead. And our tapasya is very easy. What is our tapasya? Our tapasya is eating prasadam, dancing in kirtan, chanting the holy names in ecstasy. This is the kind of tapasya we have to do. And by doing this tapasya also, we go back home, back to Godhead. So Mahaprabhu has made everything very easy for us. He gave us the easy way out. He gave us the Mahamantra and the Bhagavatam that we all are so fond of. We all like to hear the Bhagavatam. We all love to read the Bhagavatam. So all this is given to us as gifts to perform what? To perform tapasya. Gift to perform tapasya. And the tapasya is also very enjoyable. Sometimes if we don't perform this tapasya only, we get annoyed, we get irritated, we crave for tapasya. So only devotees will crave for tapasya. Nobody else craves for tapasya. Oh, I'm missing my tapasya today. That happens only to devotees, or rather those who have this gift of Krishna consciousness by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Only we are like, okay, when can I get to do some tapasya? I'm so fed up with the things, other things in my life. So this is our tapasya, happy tapasya. Bhakti should be happily performed. Krishna has told, right? Susukam kartum avyayam. If you're very morose performing bhakti, if you're doing tapasya that is uh, pulling you down, if it is making you more morose, then that is not bhakti. Bhakti should be happily performed. So we are undergoing happy tapasya so that we can go to a happy place. That's what Prabhupada says. But the human being is made to undergo tapasya for going home back to Godhead. It's not that we are performing tapasya to, a difficult task of tapasya to be in a more difficult state. We are performing tapasya to go home back to Godhead. Very, very happy. Everything is happy. The destination is happy. Process is happy. The means is happy. From beginning to end, it is only happy. This is our Kevalam Ananda Kanda. That's how our bhakti process is. So anyway, Lord Brahma, he was born, okay, now he heard tapa, he was very happy, okay, I'll do tapa. But then he also wanted to know the purpose of his life. Okay, what should I do now? Okay, I should do tapasya. And with the tapasya, what should I do? What is my purpose? His purpose is to become the creator, to construct this entire universe. So when Lord Brahma was perplexed about how to construct the material manifestations of the universe, this is cute. What he did, he held on to the lotus stalk. You can imagine a little kid, okay, a little child trying to find out who he is. So he held on to the lotus stalk and he wanted to go to the root of where he's coming from. Actually, this is when he hears tapa. When he's going down like that, like a slide. We all play slide in our young days. We all like that, right? You have swing, you have slide in the park. So we go and then we slide down. So like that, Brahma was playing slide, holding the lotus stalk, and he heard a beautiful vibration, which is tapa. So now he's ready to perform tapasya so that he can understand what he has to do. And this tapa, Prabhupada says, is like the second birth of a desiring disciple. Upashranot, that is the word that is used here in this translation. Heard it nearby. Where did he hear tapa? He heard tapa, heard it nearby. Heard it nearby means upashranot. Upashranot is similar to the word upanayana. Many of you must have had upanayana, your children or you yourself, you might have had upanayana. Upanayana means what? Bringing the disciple near to the spiritual master. Upanayana, upashrana, all this is going closer to the spiritual master and taking up the path of tapasya. So basically, when he heard tapa, Brahma was initiated by the Lord. That is what it is. So Brahmaji was initiated by Lord Krishna, and Brahma also tells this in his book. Brahma also wrote a book. It is his Samhita, Brahma Samhita. So in the Brahma Samhita, when he sang Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami, he says he was initiated by the Krishna mantra by Krishna himself, and he became a Vaishnava devotee of the Lord. Therefore, he was able to construct the universe. It is said in the Brahma Samhita that Lord Brahma was initiated, actually, of course, he told Tapa, but he was specifically initiated by the 18-letter Krishna mantra that is also accepted by the devotees of Krishna. We all know what it is. Even if you don't know, you might know what. Even if you don't know correctly, you kind of know what it is. Whether you're initiated or not, everyone must have guessed what it is. So second initiation, I mean. So basically, everyone gets the 18-letter Krishna mantra, which is accepted by the devotees of Krishna. So Brahma also received this mantra. And since we are all in this Brahma Sampradaya, we are in this disciplic succession from Brahma to Narada, Narada to Vyasa, Vyasa to Madhava, Madhvacharya, that is Madhva Muni to Madhavendra Puri, and Madhavendra Puri to Ishvara Puri, and from Ishvara Puri to Lord Chaitanya, then to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and to Srila Prabhupada, and our spiritual master, and all of us. We are very, very fortunate because we are also chanting this holy mantra in this disciplic succession. And we are also recipients of the Lord's mercy. So simply by tapasya or penance, a devotee achieves all perfections, just like how Brahma achieved perfection. Okay, if I know you'll all get upset if I do one more verse. Okay, I'll just do this because it's connected. I don't want to leave you within, because tomorrow when she starts this verse, it'll be disconnected from the previous verse. We'll start with verse number 7. Just give me 2 minutes. I won't take too much time. I'll just complete this verse because it is about tapasya. Well, the next part you don't have to. 8th verse onwards we'll give Mataji. We'll just do 7th verse, okay? Nishamyatad disho vilokya tatranyat apashyamanaha swadishyanam astaya vimrishya tadditam tapasya upadishta ivadhate mana. When he heard the sound, he tried to find the speaker, searching in all directions. But when he was unable to find anyone besides himself, he thought it is better to sit down in his lotus seat firmly and give his attention to execution of penance as he was instructed. So when Brahma was created like this, he was holding the slide and he was going down, he heard tapa, but he wanted to know, Hare, who said this? Who recited this tapa? I want to go and see this person. But then he could not do it because everywhere it was darkness. It was kind of very fearful. And also he got an instruction now, right? So he had the determination to execute the instruction. He could not find anyone besides himself. And he could understand, okay, the one who has created me, that Supreme Lord himself has given this instruction. So I will follow the instruction. So the Lord, he had initiated him. Similarly, the Lord is within all living entities as Paramatma, and He's continuously giving us instructions, but only thing is we are not listening to those instructions. But Brahma was very, very good. When he was born itself, he was inclined to listen, not like us. How much ever times we are told we don't listen. But Brahma was very good, very disciplined. As soon as he was given an instruction, he wanted to listen to that instruction. So since he was initiated by the Lord himself, he began to follow the instruction. And the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, we should understand, is coming through disciplic succession. This Brahma didn't stop there. He also passed down this knowledge that he had received. And to this day, we all are being benefited. So, however, Prabhupada says, one should not, however, think himself on the level of Brahma to be initiated directly from the Supreme Lord from inside. One should not think, okay, I will also get initiated, but I will get only initiated like how Brahma got initiated. One should not think like that. Brahma was the direct son of the Lord and he was officiated to create this universe. So Krishna had to directly initiate him. But for us, we have a bona fide spiritual master and a Guru Parampara, and he's non-different from the Lord. He's the direct representative of the Lord, and we have an opportunity to serve him and receive knowledge. So therefore, we should accept a spiritual master who is a confidant of the Lord and take instructions from him. So if we take guidance from such a spiritual master, without any doubt, we will also be accepted by the Lord and become the recipient of his mercy. Okay, so we'll stop here and I'll leave it for any questions, thoughts, comments, realizations, and whoever wants to drop off, please drop off. It's very late. You can all go rest. It's already too late. But yeah, I know Rishabh Dev's instruction would come from Prahlad Ananda Prabhu. So famous verse he has quoted. I thought Prabhu was out of town. That's why I didn't ask Prabhu. But anyway, thank you, Prabhu. Nayam deho deha bhajam loke kashtan kaman arhate vid bhujam ye tapo divyam putrakayena sattvam tapo divyam transcendental tapas shuddha yet yasmad brahma saukyam tvanantam. Beautiful verse. Yes. Yeah. Very nice. तान कीर्तय भद्रं ते कीर्तन्योधान काम रजसनाः को नु तृप्तेन हरिलीलामृतं पिबान्. Wow. Who is satiated by the which devotee can be satiated by hearing the nectarian pastimes of the Lord? Yeah, beautiful, beautiful verses. Very nice. Thank you, Prabhus. Both Sunil Prabhu and Praladananda Prabhu. Tulsi Gopi Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much for the wonderful class. Regarding, I just had to share something when we were reading the first two verses of this new chapter where Prabhupada explains that the different two people who are in illusion, the I and mine and all that. So I was wondering when he writes that when that the will of the Lord, basically, why would he subject living entities? But those living entities who are not attracted by devotional service, and yet they are frustrated and they are exhausted with the material energy, or those souls who are not devotees but they want to escape this intense material energy, the Lord has so kindly given the option. Like, in my mind, it feels like an answer to people who say, why does he want me to only become a servant to get out of suffering? He's kind of given this option, which Prabhupada, of course, has taught us is an inferior option to get liberation in Brahma Jyoti, where you don't technically have to serve the Lord, but yet experience some sort of relief and freedom, and yet be peaceful and some sort of happy and all that. It's kind of
100%.
the mercy of the Lord that if you don't want to, don't think that I am this person who only believes in enslaving people, everyone only become my servant and I only remain the enjoyer. Like, okay, you don't want to serve me, but yet you want to transcend the modes and purify yourself and just appreciate the greatness of my creation or greatness of the Supreme. Then you have this option to remain, I guess, secluded and peaceful in Brahma Jyoti. So I was just having this realization that that's like the option that, right?
Beautiful.
Deep.
It's a very deep thought, and I appreciate that, Mataji, because that is very true also. The Lord is compassionate in all circumstances. Even to the impersonals, He's being very compassionate. He wants to give them a sense of their sense of happiness, right? That they are looking for. So that's very beautiful. It's a very beautiful thought. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
true.
mean, it's although we as Vaishnavas, it's de-glamorized, but in one sense, yeah, that
That is also the mercy of the Lord, and that's, yeah.
yeah, and of course that is also under illusion that they think that remaining like that they will have highest ecstasy, whereas being a servant has more higher
More ecstasy. Yeah.
ecstasies that they don't understand, but still they are given that, okay, at least you want to get out of suffering, then I can give you that option also, without being a controller, a micromanager, some sort of helicopter parent over your head. okay, you just be free. That's what you want. Okay, be free without seeing me or without having to deal with me or other living entities around. Some sort of weird freedom. Thank you, Mataji.
So sad, right? He's telling just be free without me.
Yeah.
Very sweet. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Any Sunil Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for very beautiful advice. Mataji, in the mid-morning, we have seen the glories of Mother Parvati, like she's so merciful because of we are getting the prashadam. Now in the starting of class, you said so much about Maya, Maya, Maya. So what should be the more Mataji? Like sometimes I think, okay, she's very merciful, but when I hear about Maya, I have to keep distance. Like it's difficult, Mataji.
She's not a split personality. We are the split personality. So basically, that's what it all comes down to, how we identify, right? Material energy. We are identifying with the material energy and we are identifying that I am the body. It is our conception, our perception. But when we look at that personality who is behind this effect, see, nobody, these. And like, see, Maya Devi has a task to perform. Okay, she is going to throw these illusory, attractive things on you. That is her job. She's doing it. But the personality behind that is very compassionate. Okay, that's what we were discussing in the mid-morning class, just to give context to others. It is the glories of Parvati Devi. Parvati Devi as a personality, she's very affectionate. She likes all the living entities. Yes, she is the one who's throwing you into Maya. She's giving you all these illusory feelings, and it is you who's identifying with that illusion. It is your perception. It is you who's willingly trying to be controlled by Maya. Just like how Prabhupada gives that example of a man hugging a tree. The man is hugging the tree and he's saying the tree is not leaving me. Who's actually not leaving the tree? Is it him or is it the tree? Who's not leaving the grip? It is the man. So when we see things of this world and we begin identifying with our body, we begin identifying with things thinking this is I and mine, it is my sense of enjoying that is making me identify with all of this. Right? We blame Maya. That is their own material energy, material. It's very attractive. Maya is very attractive. And we are getting attracted. But whose fault is it? Is it Maya's fault or is it my fault? It is my fault. Okay. But the same Maya Devi personality, when you say, okay, Maya, you are very attractive, but I don't want to just get stuck here. I just do want to get attracted by this. I'm seeking for something higher. I'm seeking for something better. Then what happens? She will direct you. She will direct you, okay, enough of having fun with you. You carry on. I will show you the right direction. You take shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord. So what happens is she will remove that curtain of Maya if you surrender unto the Supreme Lord. If you say, okay, I want to take shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, then she will raise that curtain that you are getting affected by. Okay, you're getting affected because you're enjoying that covering. You're enjoying that covering. So you want to be more and more there. It is coming down to your perception. It's not her fault. Just like if when you see ice cream, okay, supposing you're very sick, you cannot eat ice cream. When you see ice cream, you desiring to eat ice cream is your fault or the ice cream's fault. Ice cream is attractive, ice cream is tasty, ice cream is fantastic, ice cream is your weakness, everything. But is the ice cream bad? No, the ice cream is not bad. It is you, it is your fault. Right? And if you tell that ice cream, Maria, ice cream, I don't want to see you. don't attract me so much. And if you develop the mindset that even when I see ice cream, I will refrain from that ice cream and I will take shelter of something that is good for me. What is good for you? I don't know. Maybe Loki sabji. I will take shelter of Loki sabji. Then it's a change of mind. That's what I'm trying to say. then your attraction for, let's not give Loki subject. Let's give something better than ice cream. That will make more sense because Krishna's lotus feet you're trying to compare it. You can't say something lower. You should say something more attractive. What is more attractive than ice cream? Maybe gulab jamun and some rasagulla. Gulab jamun and rasagulla. Maybe that is more attractive. So when you think of something more attractive than ice cream, then automatically the flavor of ice cream vanishes from your mind and you're attracted to gulab jamun. That might not be so bad for your health compared to ice cream because ice cream is very cold. Okay, so think like that. I know I
Thank
just
you so
went
much,
on
Mataji.
directions.
Just
Okay.
want to confirm, like, Maya Devi is Parvati, or is Parvati's energy is Maya Devi, or
They
both
are
are
one
same
and
only?
same only, same only. Krishna's energy
Same
is
only.
Shima,
Thank you so much,
Parvati,
Mataji.
Lakshmi, they're all Shakti Tattva. Okay, internal energy, external energy. But who is the owner of the Shakti? It is the Shaktiman, who is the Supreme. He's the owner. So they are Shakti themselves. Okay.
Thank you so much, Mataji. It's so helpful.
Thank you, Fra. Okay. Anything else? Okay, we'll end here and we'll meet again. I think today's Thursday, right? Yeah, we can meet next week with verse number 8. Okay. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to all the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Good night, everybody. Hari Bol, and good morning to those in India. Hari Bol.